Welcome back. It is Sunday, July 23rd in the MLB. Our three favorite picks are on the way. It's Austin, joined by Logan. Let's recap yesterday. A little bit of a mini sweep. We don't bring out the brooms for a 2-0-1 day. Now let's talk about two winners. The Rockies and Marlins under 8.5. Was looking sweat-free, Logan. The over 8.5 was like plus 600 at some point, and then naturally we had to sweat it out at the end. That's what we love to see. Nerfy Nation got to wave the flags, and my pick was a push. I said the first 5-run money line for the Red Sox ended up tied 3-3. Jorge Alfaro, I'm looking at you, man. You cost us some coin yesterday. If you saw what I tweeted out, the error they made, you would know what we're talking about. The Red Sox naturally ended up winning that outright, which was my initial lean. But either way, 2-0-1 day. We won't complain about that at all. But before we dive into our home run picks, we'll talk about those at the end. We went 0-2 on those, but they're just kind of long shot plays. Let's talk about Bet365 because like I talked about yesterday, it's a great bonus offer. I want you guys to take advantage of it if you are in a couple different states in the U.S. You get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $1 on any game on Sunday for the MLB. How you claim it? Sign up, top link in the description, deposit $10 on Bet365, and boom, you just make a $1 moneyline bet on anything on the MLB team to win the game. You'll get all that. Even if it loses, you'll get the bonus. So it's available in New Jersey, Ohio, Virginia, Colorado, and Iowa. Take advantage of that. But look, we got 3 picks, and we'll talk about some home run plays at the end. What's your first one going to be? I like your shirt too.
Yeah. I'm wearing the shirt. I'm wearing the cactus shirt for this team. I'm taking the Diamondbacks on the money line, minus 104 odds on FanDuel. Yeah, you know what? I've never lost a Diamondbacks pick wearing this cactus shirt. So it's good vibes. I don't see possibly how this pick can lose now. But you look at the Diamondbacks, they're struggling, right? They've lost 3 in a row, and they're look to avoid the sweep in Cincy. The Reds, on the other side, we're talking about trends. I mean, trends isn't how I pick baseball, but I like to talk about them. The Reds have won 8 out of Weaver's last 9 starts. That's the biggest, doesn't make sense stat to ever exist. The man just gets a ton of run support when he starts. It's the craziest thing ever because let's talk about Luke Weaver. 7.22 ERA and a 1.63 whip. Look, I will blindly fade this guy at most opportunities. And you know what? If you've been fading the other team on the money line, it has not been profitable. Like I said, he just gets a crap ton of run support. You don't just, this late into the season though, you look at what type of pitcher he is, you don't just luck into a 7 ERA. You got to earn that 7 ERA, and it's a nasty, statistical thing because in 16 games, that's a huge sample size, and he still is hosting batting practice most of these games. Look, he just doesn't miss enough bats. Weaver has allowed 5 earned runs in 3 out of his last 6 starts. That's just one of those, like, if you're constantly allowing 4 or 5 earned runs and you look at those game logs, eventually your team won't give you enough run support to make up for your mistakes. And I think that's kind of what we see today. Some of these D-backs hitters have seen Weaver before. They have some plate appearances. And as a team, Arizona's hitting 316, as average against Weaver, 382 expected batting average versus Weaver. Look, if they don't bring the bats today against Luke Weaver, I'll just tip my cap and say, wow, you're trash. Because against Luke Weaver, he's a favorable matchup for most of the 29 other teams in baseball. Diamondbacks have been slumping offensively. They're only hitting 200 against righties in their last 3 games. This is one of those things where, obviously teams go through hot and cold spells. But on the season, the Diamondbacks are 5th in batting average, 258, and 6th in OPS versus righties. They've been really, really good against right-handed pitching, and regression back to those numbers today, I think, will occur. Weaver provides the perfect spot to turn your offense around. I think this matchup definitely benefits the Diamondbacks today. Now, who's starting for the D-backs today? It's scheduled to be Jose Ruiz starting for Arizona, 5.48 ERA and a 1.59 WHIP. Good news for us, though, is, I don't have to do a whole lot of digging into Jose Ruiz because he should just be an opener. He's probably going to go 1 innings pitched or, maybe max 2 innings pitched. This is a bullpen game for the Diamondbacks. So every, few innings, they will toss in a new bullpen arm and see if we can get a win this way. There's pros and cons to a bullpen game. If you're just not that familiar with baseball, not familiar with a bullpen game, it's one of those. It provide the major pro right off the bat is that it provides the pitchers with no familiarity against the hitters because the hitters each time through the order are probably seeing a new pitcher. I thought the Marlins were going with the bullpen game with Cuellar yesterday. He tossed a masterclass. So maybe this is a Ruiz masterclass. I wouldn't mind that though. But a con for us though, unfortunately, is that the Diamondbacks haven't been all that great in bullpen ERA. They're 25th in bullpen ERA over the last 14 days. Facing the Braves in their last series definitely did not help that bullpen ERA. I just still think the fact that the Reds hitters will be challenged with a new pitcher each time through the order, will benefit us this way. And you look at this Reds offense, they're amazing when I fade them. They're terrible when I back them. But the Reds have, even with the occasional outburst of runs, the Reds are still only hitting 208 at home in the month of July. That's not a great average. Runs come, kind of sporadically for this Reds offense. And I think definitely the bullpen can hold them down enough for us today to give whatever lead, we got on Weaver to hopefully be able to hold that. So I do like, the Diamondbacks on the full game money line. I definitely wouldn't mess with first five, because I don't know when the runs could come against the bullpen arms. It's just one of those hard to predict kind of things, but I do think they'll give us enough run support to work with, and I'm taking the Snakes on the money line today. But Austin, what you got for us?
Yeah, Logan, today might be one of the rare days that people are going to hate my pick more than yours. And let's talk about mine first, because we're going to go to the Rangers, and I'm taking them on the money line. It's currently plus 106 on FanDuel. In fact, we're getting plus money here. I like that. It might change as the day goes on. Obviously, money line picks are always fluctuating here and there. But let's talk about why I'm going to back the Rangers, because very few people want to step in front of the buzzsaw of the Dodgers that have been, cooking the last two games. But I'll be happy to back the Rangers, and a couple of reasons why. Now, obviously, if you've been backing the Rangers the first two games of the series, there's probably a good chance you're not backing them the third game, as they've lost 11-5 in the first, and then 16-3 yesterday. Now, obviously, they threw in some turkey tossers at the end. They even threw in a hitter, just a position player to go pitch. So that score obviously has been exacerbated, but still they got smoked. There's no way around that. They were down 10-1. But everyone's going to be on the Dodgers today at minus 120, and happily so. They would want to back a team that's won the first two, but I'm picking the Rangers, and there's a couple reasons why. Now, for starters, if you just look at psychologically, this is the Dodgers' last game on their 9-game road trip, which they've had since the start. Well, technically since the All-Star break, since they returned from that. Would it surprise anyone, as we've talked about in the past, if the bats are already on the plane ready to go home? No. And would it be surprising if they rested guys today? No. But at the end of the day, I like the Rangers here in a bounce back spot. I know they don't have Corey Seager, but I think they'll be able to get it done. Now, you look at Martin Perez, who we're going to need a good start from. He's going to start for the Rangers, a 4.84 ERA and a 1.50 whip. I like trusting him at home, where he has a 3.48 ERA and a 1.29 whip. Now, he has allowed 2 or less earned runs in 6 of 8 home starts. He has had 2 bad home starts in a row. One was against the Astros, barely made it into the second inning. Gave up 6 earned runs in that one. Bounced back a little bit against the Guardians. Gave up 3 earned runs versus the Guardians too. But this is the guy that's pitched well at home. He's a veteran, 32-year-old. He's been in the league for a while. I think he's going to bounce back here today. And then look at the Dodgers. They've been smoking left-handed or right-handed pitchers, but against lefties really haven't been that great. In July, Dodgers 17th in batting average, 24th in batting average in balls in play, 28th in hard hit percentage versus left-handed pitching. So look at a guy like Perez. He's going to give up some hits. Normally, it's more of a bunch of singles and stuff like that. But the fact that the Dodgers aren't getting super all those hard hits, I don't necessarily trust them to put up a ton of runs against Perez. And if they can't put up a ton of runs against Perez, I think we got a chance of winning this one. Obviously, if Perez comes out here and gives up 6 earned runs, we're probably losing. But this is a Dodgers lineup that hasn't seen Perez all too much. You look at a guy like Mookie Betts, sure, he's 6 for 14, and Freddie's 3 for 4. But behind them, you got JD Martinez, probably batting in the 4 or 5 slot. He's 1 for 11. So, and then the rest of the guys really haven't seen him. So I expect Perez to at least pitch decently. That's all I'm asking for. You can give up 3 earned runs. Hopefully it's the max. But I think he pitched decently. He's been good at home. I'll trust him here. Now, on the other side, pitching for the Dodgers, Emmett Shaheen. Now, I don't know if I pronounce his name right. I don't necessarily care, but you look at his stats, 4.91 ERA and a 1.17 whip. He's allowed 3, 5, and 4 earned runs in his last 3 starts, and he's never pitched past the 5th inning in those starts. And on the road, 6.30 ERA and 1.50 whip. So this is a guy that has been struggling on the road. If you were to go back to his first start, Dodgers are like, this guy's elite. This guy went 6 innings pitched. I think he threw almost a no-hitter in his first start. Since then, it hasn't been obviously as good. Teams have started to figure out him, and they're figuring out his pitches, and hence why teams are putting up runs against him. And this is a Rangers offense, despite without Corey Seager, still one of the best offenses in the league in July. Rangers 4th in batting average, 4th in batting average in balls in play, 4th in slugging, 2nd in hard hit percentage versus right-handed pitching. So I expect this team to be able to step up and do their thing. As I talked about, Emmett, who has struggled in his last couple starts, hasn't been struggling against the best competition in the league. He's played against the Rockies, the Pirates, and then actually a decent offense in the Orioles. I mean, we talked about yesterday, the Rockies have been struggling against righties, and the Pirates are a team that you never know what's going to happen with them. So look at the end of the day, this is a Rangers offense that obviously has stunk it up the first 2 games of the series. Their pitching really hasn't done them any favors. So I think Perez can come out here and pitch pretty decently. Yesterday, the Rangers didn't use any of their good bullpen arms, so their bullpen should be rested if Perez can get us a lead. And I think at the end of the day, this Dodgers bullpen, and the Dodgers on their 9th game of their homestand. This is also a Rangers team that hasn't been swept at home, I believe, all season long, though. I think they've only been swept once, and that was in Cincinnati against the Reds. So I think at the end of the day, I like the Rangers on the money line. Not a lot of people are going to be on them. People are going to be hammering the Dodgers. I just think the Rangers are a very talented team, trying to avoid the sweep here. Logan and I are picking 2 teams trying to avoid a sweep, and I think that's probably a pretty profitable way to bet baseball. So Rangers going Diamondbacks. Let's get it done. Now, look, I reckon you know what time it is. Get the flags out, baby. Nerfy Nation got to wave the flags yesterday, and it was electric. We needed that one in the worst way, and we got another one that we really liked today. Obviously, we don't take a Nerfy every day, but hey, if we can get on a roll here, we might have to. Now, let's go to this one. White Sox and Twins taking the no-run first inning, -115 on BetMGM. We'll talk about another one we did consider after this one, but this is our favorite one of the slate. And let's talk about who's going to lead it off for the Twins. It's going to be Bailey Ober who's going to start for him. He's 11-4 on Nerfy, so he's been pretty solid, pretty locked in. Actually is coming off a Yerfy, so the fact, he was 11-3 going into his last start, obviously, didn't get it done. But the White Sox 27th in first inning runs. I actually consider the full game under in this one. I think the White Sox, like the Dodgers, are on like the final game of a 6 or 9-game road trip. So they're obviously going back home, I believe, tomorrow. So wouldn't surprise me with the White Sox maybe rest some guys at the top of the lineup, maybe TA or maybe Luis Robert Jr. gets a rest day today. But either way, Over should be able to get us those first 3 outs. Who's on the other side, Logan?
Yeah, hopefully Lucas Giolito can get it done. Now, Giolito's record, not great in Nerf. He's 11-9 on no-run first innings. But we do like his matchup against the Twins today. Twins 11th in first inning runs, so they're decent. But we know how hit or miss this Twins offense is. They really, know how to disappear when you want them, And I think definitely Lucas Giolito is able to get through them. He's faced the Twins already this year and has nerfied against them both times. So I think Lucas Giolito can be solid enough. He gets a little bit nervous in the first inning. So if he can just come out, be relaxed, say, it's just my job to get 3 outs right here for Nerfy Nation, and then go and host batting practice in the second inning if he wants to, because that's what he did in his last start. He just hosted batting practice. But looking at the over-under to this game, as Austin mentioned, he did like the under, and I kind of agree with him. It's set to 8. That's pretty low, nowadays. You normally see him around 8.5 or 9 if the books expect it to just soar over. So I do think this one stands a good chance at the Nerfy cashing. The other one we did consider and kind of went back and forth on, waffled a little bit, was the Giants and Nationals. That was one that we just like this one better than that one. I'm not saying that one's terrible, but if you look at the Nationals, they really do like to score in the first inning. They like to score in the first inning, especially at home. And they're facing a lefty today, which, as Austin mentioned, I mean, the Nationals definitely do hit well against lefties. So that matchup is a little bit suspect. But it's one that I think, with those 2 pitchers, we could definitely see it being a Nerfy as well. But I think we're just going to roll with this one because it's going to be a little bit safer. But we'll talk about real quick, though, everyone's favorite. We've been talking about home runs most of this week. Home runs are fun plays, kind of little dart throw bets, but I do like it. And my pick today is going to be Nolan Gorman of the Cardinals. Plus 330 odds on DraftKings is currently your best value. Yesterday I texted Austin. I was like, Nolan homered. I was like, oh man, wrong Nolan though. You picked on the Redbirds yesterday. Sorry, Austin. But I think Nolan Gorman, he's a guy that swings for the fences today. Wrigley has an over/under of 9.5. Should be some home run balls in Wrigley today. But Austin, who you picking on Dinger Watch today?
I got a good one, and it's going to go to Sunday Night Baseball. It's going to be the last game on the slate, and it's going to be a New York Met. It's going to be Francisco Lindor of the Mets. He's currently about plus 450 or so. FanDuel doesn't have lines for whatever reason for some people, but plus 450 on DraftKings is what you'll get him at. And I think he's got a chance. He's got 19 on the year. Doesn't have one in a week or two, but I was looking at some hard hit percentage. He's got some high hard hit percentage for some right-handed pitchers, high fly ball rate. So I think the wind's going to be blowing out towards the Green Monster. Obviously, you got to get the right loft on it. You can't just hit a line drive to left field and it's going to go over the fence. It's not how the Green Monster works, but I think Lindor can get under one. It looks to be a bullpen game for the Red Sox. I know they got some guys in that bullpen that could toss me some turkeys. So I'll go with Lindor. I know he's got some solid value to him. Obviously, just sprinkle on the home runs. They're obviously very hard to predict, but hey, if either one of them hits a homer, we're giving away $100 to someone that's subscribed to the channel and comments down below. So let's have a great Sunday. Let's have a great day. Hopefully go 3-0, and hopefully we cash that Nerfy and cash our other 2 money line picks. We will see you guys back again tomorrow on Monday morning. We'll have a parlay of the day then. And if you want to sign up for Bet365, all the details down below, top of the description. Logan Austin signing out. We'll see you guys back on Monday. Peace.